Hello scholars! Today we're going to learn about the Islamic invasion in Spain and Africa. But before we do that, let's take a look at our world map in my giant atlas. So I'm again going to turn to page 123. Oh, map book takes up my whole desk. And take a look over here is the Mediterranean Sea. Here's the whole world. But here's the Mediterranean Sea and what we are going to be focused on, and how the Islams who were on the Arabian Peninsula now are invading Africa, and they go even up here into Spain, which is right at the tip of the Mediterranean Sea. So they have conquered and coming into this area. Remember that when Islam first began, it spread way north and east, and they took over the entire Arabian Peninsula and over almost into India. So we're going to take a look at the invasion of Spain and Africa. Let me move that book and get this book out and zoom in now. Don't have to be so far away. And let's see what we will read about today. All right, page 104, the Islamic invasion. And they do have a map here, so we can take a closer look at the map they provide. And hope you have your book. If not, you can follow along with me, listen to my voice, hear the story, or read the story with me. Chapter 12, the Islamic invasion. Our heading, Islam in Spain and Africa. So I know now that they have traveled into Africa and up into Spain. So just west of the Frankish Empire, another tribe of barbarians had settled down in the land of Spain. So here is the Frankish kingdom, and here to the southwest is Spain, what we know now as Spain. And the tribe of barbarians were the Visigoths. They had once stormed through the ancient world, creating havoc and spreading terror. But now they too had a kingdom of their own. They had adopted the Roman customs. They had also become Christians, and they also had a king. But in the year 710, their king died suddenly. The Visigoths quarreled or argued over who would be the next king. Some of them wanted the king's son to rule. But the strongest nobleman insisted that a warrior named Rodrigo would be a better king. They put Rodrigo on the throne and forced everyone to accept him. Of course, some people aren't going to be happy. The sons of the dead king were furious. They wanted to rule. So they sent messengers down to North Africa and asked the great fighter Tariq bin Ziyad. Wonder if I'm saying that right. I'm going to go look in my pronunciation guide, and I hope it's in here because I don't have my narrator to listen to. So I'm going to turn to my pronunciation guide and look on page 405. Here it is, Tariq bin Ziyad. Tariq bin Ziyad. Tariq bin, or bin, don't know if it's long or short I. Tariq bin Ziyad. I'm going to try my best. That's all I can do. Tariq bin Ziyad, to bring his armies up. So they went down into northern Africa and asked the strong fighter Tariq to bring his armies up and help them drive Rodrigo out so they could rule. That was a big mistake. They thought it was a good idea, but apparently it wasn't. You see, Tariq was a Muslim commander, and his armies were the armies of the Islamic Empire. Do you remember how the Islamic Empire began? Followers of Muhammad, who preached that Allah was the one true God, took over the cities of Mecca and Medina. Then they took over most of Arabia. They attacked the Byzantine Empire and took some of its land. They conquered Egypt right here, and then they spread across North Africa, south of the Mediterranean Sea. They built holy cities in North Africa, and they added 12,000 North African men called Berbers to their army. And there's another word in italics. One of the Berbers was Tariq. When they conquered, he was only a slave. But when the Islamic armies captured Tariq's hometown, he converted to Islam and joined the conquerors. He fought willingly in the front lines of every battle. Soon Tariq's bravery became known to his commanding officers. He was promoted again and again until he became a general. Under Tariq's leadership, the Islamic army charged through the rest of North Africa all the way to the city of Tangier. Look at your map and you'll see that Tangier sits right here at the tip of the Mediterranean Sea. So you can see that. Sits right at the edge of the Mediterranean Sea. The sea that looks like the duck. Tangier's on the beak. And just across the water is Spain. So you can see that. Doesn't look like there's much. There's a little waterway right there flowing into the Mediterranean Sea. And just across is Spain. Once Tariq and his forces were in Tangier, it was a very short trip over into the Spanish land. So when Tariq got a message inviting him into Spain, he was happy to oblige. Sure, I'll come, he said. But he didn't go over to Spain to help the king's son get their throne back. He went to capture Spain for Islam. He organized 7,000 fighting men into small groups. One hot May morning, each group got onto a ship. The ship sailed in a long procession across the water to the coast of Spain. Tariq was in the first ship. He leaped over the edge of the ship into the water and waded ashore. He climbed up to the top of a huge rock nearby and watched as each ship came up to the Spanish sand. And as soon as all of his men had come ashore, he ordered, "Burn the ships!" "But sir," his soldiers cried, "why are you doing this? How will we ever return home?" Tariq glared at them. "We haven't come here to return," he said. "We will either conquer or perish." Which means you're either going to conquer or you are going to die. And with that, he led his armies into Spain. I'm not sure how his soldiers are feeling about this. I think some of them wanted to go home, but he was their leader, ordered the ships to be burned, and they burned them. The Visigoths, divided by their quarrel over the throne, couldn't resist or fight back Tariq's fighting men. Soon Rodrigo and the king's son and the rest of the Visigoths were all under Islamic rule, and Spain remained a Muslim country for many years. Spanish followers of Islam became known as Moors. You can see again an italics word. They built great mosques all across Spain and decorated them with delicate, complicated patterns. And the mosques are the churches of Islam. They designed magnificent gardens and cool, open buildings for the hot Spanish cities. They planted new crops in Spain: cherries, apples, almonds, and bananas. Cities in Spain became great centers for philosophy, poetry, and music. Spanish mathematicians used the numbers that we still use today. We now call these Arabic numerals. Remember, we had our Roman numerals that are different than ours, and what we use are a descendant of the Arabic numerals. The rock where Tariq stood to watch his ships come in became known as Jabal Tariq, the mountain of Tariq. Over many years, Jabal Tariq became pronounced Gibraltar. Today, that rocky hill is still known as the Rock of Gibraltar. So that is a very short story of how the Islams invaded and took over Spain and Africa. Well, when we meet next time together in this manner, we're going to read about some great kings of France And we'll continue working our way through kings and knights and castles, and that in our medieval time frame. Until then, go out and do great works.